On the day we signed the divorce agreement, my husband Adrian said, "Selina, you will never become a woman as radiant and dazzling as Vivian." My fingertips gripping the pen paused slightly as I looked up at him. He sat across from me, dressed in a suit and tie, his handsome features unchanged, but in those eyes that had once shown me tenderness, there now remained only undisguised weariness and cold comparison. Vivian, his unattainable first love, had just returned to the country as an internationally renowned pianist. And I was the bland, worthless, and burdensome wife in his words, who had occupied the position of Mrs. Liu for 3 years. My heart felt as if pricked by fine needles, surging with dense pain, which was soon replaced by complete numbness. In our 3 years of marriage, I had concealed all my sharpness, cooked and managed the household, trying to warm his heart with gentleness and thoughtfulness, only to receive in return his words, "You can't compare to her." I suddenly found it laughable. The corners of my mouth twitched slightly, and I neatly signed my name at the end of the agreement, Selina. The handwriting was free and bold, carrying a long-suppressed sharpness about to burst forth, completely different from the timid script he was familiar with. Adrian seemed to notice a hint of anomaly, glancing at the signature but not delving deeper. Perhaps in his eyes, nothing about me was worth his excessive attention. Regarding the property division, besides this marital home, I'll additionally compensate you with 50 million and an apartment in the city center. That's enough for you to live comfortably for the rest of your life. He pushed over an attachment in a businesslike manner, his tone like dismissing a greedy beggar. "Selina, let's part amicably, don't entangle." Looking at him, I suddenly smiled. It wasn't the gentle, ingratiating smile of the past, but one laced with sarcasm and casual laziness. Adrian is truly generous. My voice was light, yet it struck his eardrums clearly. However, it's unnecessary. I stood up, pushed the attachment back to him, and only took my copy of the divorce agreement. Except for the personal items I brought, I don't want a single thread from the Liu family. I picked up the old canvas bag from the chair back, patted off non-existent dust. As for how I'll live the rest of my life, Adrian need not worry. Adrian's brows finally furrowed, as if seeing me for the first time. The Selina before him, dressed in a simple white t-shirt and jeans, with no makeup, seemed no different from the past 3 years. But those eyes were no longer submissive and gentle, they burned with a cold flame, clear, sharp, even carrying an oppressive sense unfamiliar to him. A subtle anomaly flashed through his mind but was quickly suppressed by impatience. In his view, this was probably another ploy to attract his attention, retreating to advance, laughable and pitiful. "As you wish." He indifferently shifted his gaze, as if looking at me one more time was a waste of life. "I hope you mean what you say." I picked up the small suitcase at my feet, turned and left without a trace of reluctance. At the door, I stopped, without turning back, and lightly tossed out, "By the way, Adrian, let me tell you something." His tone was perfunctory. "Not everyone likes to shine in a cesspool. You and Vivian are quite a match." After speaking, I opened the door, unsurprisingly hearing his angry low roar from behind, "Selina! You!" The door closed behind me, cutting off all his sounds. The sunlight was somewhat glaring. I raised my hand to shield it and took a deep breath of free air. It felt so good. The shackles of being Mrs. Adrian were finally removed. Adrian would never know what kind of identity his discarded wife truly held. Even less would he know that the top resources he and his radiant first love desperately sought to climb were merely things I disdained, games I could play casually. Leaving that luxurious yet cold marital home, I took a taxi back to an unremarkable old apartment in the city center. This was the old house left by my mother, small but cozy, full of life's warmth. Over the past 3 years, I would occasionally sneak back, only here could I briefly be my true self. Opening the dusty cabinet, I took out an old laptop from the depths. Pressing the power button, the familiar interface lit up. My fingers danced on the keyboard, so fast they left after images. Lines of complex code flew across the screen. Soon, an encrypted communication interface popped up. Messages exploded instantly. "J God! You're finally online. Boss. It's been 3 years. Do you know how we've been these 3 years? The International Hacker Alliance has offered $1 million for you to show up. Those Wall Street investment banks are nearly breaking down our doors, just asking which stock you're bullish on next. I, Selina, codename J, ranked in the top 3 on the global hacker leaderboard, a top hacker with a mysterious identity. At the same time, I am the Midas touch feared in the international financial markets. The small-scale funds I managed had astonishingly terrifying returns. However, all of this was hidden behind the network. Over the past 3 years, to cater to Adrian's preference for quiet and obedient women, I had almost completely sealed this identity, only occasionally taking extremely high-priced, quickly completable jobs anonymously. The earnings were mostly invested in stocks and futures markets through various hidden channels, compounding into an astronomical figure now. Adrian's 50 million? It wasn't even enough for a day's fluctuation in my account. I typed a line, "What's interesting lately?" My subordinate immediately reported, "Yes, yes, yes. The biggest thing is Tech's billion-dollar AI project Eye of the Future, searching globally for top security consultants. The bidding is going crazy. The Liu Group and Qin family seem to have teamed up, determined to win. Tech? Adrian and Vivian?" I slightly raised my eyebrow. Truly, enemies on a narrow road. The Liu Group mainly deals in tech sectors, always seeking transformation breakthroughs. The Qin family is an old aristocratic family with deep connections, but their industries have shrunk in recent years. The two families teaming up is complementary. It seems this is the business blueprint Adrian mentioned about strong alliance with Vivian to create glory. Unfortunately, it fell into my hands. Send me all the core data of this project, as well as the Liu and Qin family's bidding proposals. J. God, are you making a move? My subordinate was extremely excited. I responded faintly, adding a negligible difficulty to their lives. Soon, the data transfer was complete. I glanced at the Liu Group's proposal. It was indeed well done, evidently with great effort and top teams hired. Unfortunately, in my eyes, it was riddled with vulnerabilities like a sieve. I flexed my fingers, the corners of my lips curling into a cold arc. 10 minutes later, the encrypted email of Tech's project CTO received an anonymous email. The content directly pointed out 3 fatal security vulnerabilities and logical flaws in the Liu Group's bidding proposal, with sharp, incisive language at such a high level that this experienced CTO broke into a cold sweat instantly. At the same time, an encrypted account named J sent an application to Tech's official for participating in the Eye of the Future security consultant bidding, attached with an extremely concise yet shocking core architecture idea that stunned the entire tech circle. Tech internally was hit with a bombshell instantly. All executives were asking, "Who is this J?" On the other side, Adrian and his office received a stern inquiry call from the project leader, his face ashen as he smashed his beloved antique teacup. His meticulously prepared, must-win proposal was criticized as worthless at the final step. Investigate. Find out who sent that anonymous email. And that J. Spare no cost to find them. He roared at the other end of the phone, completely losing the cold composure he had in front of me. I turned off the computer, pleasantly brewed myself a cup of coffee. The game had just begun. After handling the hacker side, my phone rang. It was an international call. I answered, greeting in fluent Italian, "Ciao, Giovanni." "Oh. My dear Sue. You finally answered." From the other end came an extremely excited male tenor, with an exaggerated Italian accent, "God. Where have you been hiding these 3 years? Did the god of inspiration abduct you? New series. When can you give me the new series? Buyers from Milan and Paris are blowing up my phone. Without your designs, my shows are like losing their soul. Giovanni, founder and design director of the fashion giant Luminous brand, and my intergenerational friend. I, Selina, another identity is the most mysterious and hottest Chinese genius designer Sue in the fashion circle. My designs are bold, rebellious, full of dynamic artistic sense, sweeping the world upon launch, hard to obtain. But my whereabouts are erratic, production extremely low, and I never show my face, called the ghost designer by the media. 3 years ago, I said I needed a break to find life inspiration. Giovanni, though wailing dramatically, had no choice. Soon, Giovanni. Listening to his familiar complaints, the corners of my mouth unconsciously rose. I've already found new inspiration. Really? His voice instantly rose an octave. What is it? Tell me quickly. It's the taste of freedom and revenge. I lightly sipped coffee, tone leisurely. Give me a week, I'll send you the designs for the new series Phoenix. Phoenix. Rebirth from Nirvana. Just hearing the name makes my blood boil. Sue, I knew you wouldn't disappoint me. Giovanni shouted excitedly. By the way, next month in Shanghai there's a top fashion charity gala. Vivian, that recently returned hot pianist, she'll perform and wants to borrow our season's haute couture Dream of the Starry Sky to make a scene. I didn't want to lend it. That dress is your work. Her affected temperament can't hold it up at all. Vivian? Borrowing my dress? My eyes turned slightly cold. Reject her, I said faintly. Ah? But she's very famous in China. The marketing department there thinks it's good exposure. I said, reject her. My voice wasn't loud, but carried undeniable decisiveness. Dream of the Starry Sky, she's not worthy. Additionally, in the brand's name, send an invitation to the gala to a lady named Selina. Selina? Who is she? Giovanni was puzzled. She will be the only and eternal muse of the Phoenix series. Looking out the window, my tone was calm and powerful. Do as I say. Okay. Okay. Everything as you say, my goddess. Giovanni, though full of doubts, had no objections to my decision. Hanging up, I opened the drawing software. The design inspiration silent for 3 years surged out like floodwaters breaking a dam. Keyboard and stylus became my weapons. Lines, colors, fabrics collided and fused at my fingertips, outlining phoenix wings reborn from fire, brilliant, domineering, with resolute power to tear through all darkness. This time, I no longer hid my light for anyone. A week after the divorce, I was busy handling Jay and Sue affairs, and incidentally, using another alias, Top Perfumer Ethereal, rejected the sky-high invitation from Vivian's studio to custom-make a unique signature perfume for her. Days were fulfilling and free. Adrian's days seemed not so good. The Eye of the Future project bidding setback left him overwhelmed. He mobilized all connections to uncover JS' identity, but found nothing. At the same time, news of Vivian being rejected for borrowing haute couture and hitting a wall in purchasing signature perfume somehow spread in small circles, making her perfect goddess face hard to maintain, and she complained grievances to Adrian plenty. Adrian probably wanted to find some presents, or simply see how miserable I was without him, surprisingly having his assistant call me, condescendingly saying Adrian, considering old feelings, can give you a grassroots clerk position at Lou Group, for stable income. At that time, as Sue, I was remotely directing Giovanni to adjust the Phoenix series show music. Receiving the call, I only replied, tell Adrian, appreciated, but I'm afraid if I go to work, his group is too small to accommodate my big Buddha. It said. Adrian smashed another cup after hearing the reply. Time quickly came to the fashion charity gala evening. I was originally too lazy to go, but Giovanni called 8 times a day urging me, begging me to go to hold the fort for the Phoenix series. I had to randomly pick a champagne-colored slip dress from Sue's unreleased new designs. The dress style was minimalist, but the fabric extremely exquisite, flowing with subtle luster under lights, making skin fairer than snow. I didn't deliberately dress up, even only light makeup, long hair casually loose. But when I held the invitation and slowly entered the banquet hall, the originally lively scene with clinking glasses and bustling voices fell into a moment of silence. Everyone's gazes involuntarily focused on me. It was a beauty surpassing elaborate decorations and luxurious jewelry, exuding confidence, laziness, and high-end scents from the bones. Who is she? So unfamiliar. This aura is amazing. A new artist from which family? That dress on her, never seen. But the cut and fabric are definitely a top master's work. Ignoring the surrounding whispers, I found a quiet corner to sit. Soon, the crowd stirred again. Adrian and Vivian arrived. Adrian in a Brioni haute couture suit, handsome and tall. Vivian wore a barely lent previous season's secondary line gown from some brand, though pretty, under my contrast, appeared overly forced, even somewhat tacky. She had a proper elegant smile, enjoying media flashes and attention, until her gaze fell on me. That smile instantly stiffened. She obviously recognized me, eyes full of disbelief, and a trace of panic and jealousy from being outshone. She subconsciously gripped Adrian's arm tightly. Adrian followed her gaze, and when he saw me, he was clearly stunned. He probably didn't expect to see me here, even less that, shedding the humble shell of Mrs. Liu, I would appear like this, composed, calm, even with a queenly aura overlooking the field he had never seen. The compensation he condescendingly offered at divorce, which I refused, now seemed like a huge joke, a boomerang stabbing back into his own heart. Vivian forced a smile, pulling Adrian over, tone affectionate yet barbed. "Selina? It's really you. How are you here? Did you come to the wrong place? This is a charity gala, needs an invitation." Her voice neither loud nor soft, just enough for surrounding eavesdroppers to hear. Instantly, those gazes on me added inquiry and contempt. Turns out she sneaked in? Adrian's face darkened, seeming to think my presence embarrassed him. He lowered his voice, with habitual reprimanding tone. "Selina, this isn't where you should be, don't mess around, go back quickly." I swirled the champagne glass in my hand, too lazy to lift my eyelids. "You too, are we very familiar?" Vivian's expression stiffened. Adrian was even more choked by my indifferent attitude, speechless. At this moment, the gala host, Luminous Brands Asia-Pacific President David, eyes lit up, striding towards us. Vivian immediately straightened her back, piling on a perfect smile, preparing to receive greetings from this fashion tycoon. She was one of the brand's invited performers tonight. However, David walked straight past her, enthusiastically stopping in front of me, extending both hands. "Miss Selina. It's an utmost honor for you to grace us. Mr. Giovanni specifically instructed me to take good care of you." The whole venue was in uproar. Vivian's smile completely shattered on her face. Adrian's pupils suddenly contracted, looking at me with shock and uncertainty. I smiled slightly, just lightly gripping David's hand. "Mr. David is too polite. It's deserved." "Deserved?" David's attitude was respectful, even with a hint of flattery. "Your seat is at the head, please follow me." I nodded, stood up, my gaze finally condescendingly falling on the pale-faced Vivian and the utterly shocked Adrian. "By the way, Miss Vivian." My tone was gentle, like chatting with a friend. "I heard you wanted to borrow Dream of the Starry Sky?" Vivian's lips trembled, unable to speak. I smiled gracefully, with some regret. "That dress, its design intent was for a woman with true inner strength. Giovanni thought you weren't suitable, seems his judgment was correct." After speaking, I no longer looked at their faces like overturned palettes, under David's bowing lead, gracefully walking to the most prominent position at the front of the hall. Behind was dead silence, and countless shocked, probing, incredulous gazes. Adrian stared fixedly at my back, hands clenched into fists, veins bulging. He suddenly realized he seemed never to have known his ex-wife. The gala's climax was the auction. The finale item was provided by Luminous Brand, the first piece from the Phoenix series personally designed by mysterious designer Sue, a necklace named Nirvana. The main stone was a rare 15-carat fancy vivid yellow diamond, tightly surrounded by countless brilliant white diamonds and platinum outlining flame-shaped wings, design domineering and flamboyant, dazzling. Upon debut, it caused venue-wide gasps and frantic bidding. Vivian's eyes were almost glued to the necklace. She pulled Adrian's arm, softly pleading, "Adrian, this necklace is so beautiful, like custom-made for me, help me bid it down, okay? As celebration for our debut success." Adrian almost always granted Vivian's requests, plus stimulated by me earlier, urgently needing to prove something, he frequently raised his paddle. The price soared, soon breaking 8 figures. Bidders gradually decreased, finally leaving only Adrian and a phone-delegated anonymous buyer. 12 million. Adrian, determined to win, directly added 2 million. The scene murmured low. The phone ends silent for a moment, just as the auctioneer was about to hammer, quoted again, 15 million. Adrian's face ugly, gritted teeth, 16 million. 20 million. The other party without hesitation, voice through amplifier calm and steady, yet with overwhelming strength. The venue silent. 20 million for a necklace? This far exceeded its intrinsic value. Adrian's temple veins throbbed. Loot Group's recent cash flow wasn't loose. Eye of the Future project needed heavy investment. 20 million for a necklace, even for Vivian, was too extravagant. He hesitated. Vivian unwillingly pinched his arm, eyes longing. Auctioneer started countdown, 20 million first. 20 million second. Adrian deep breath, like making huge decision, just about to raise paddle again, 30 million. A cool calm female voice rose, not loud, yet clearly spreading through the venue. Everyone turned sharply, incredulously looking at the source, me. I put down my paddle, facing Adrian and Vivian's shocked, twisted, ghost-seeing gazes, smiled slightly. Adrian, Miss Vivian. My tone lazy, with just right apology, sorry, I like this necklace too. Auctioneer's voice trembled excitedly, 30 million. This Miss Selina bids 30 million. Any higher? 30 million first. 30 million second. 30 million third. Sold. Hammer sound fell. Finalized. I stood, in dead silence and countless wildly flashing flashes, slowly walked to the stage. Staff carefully presented the velvet tray before me. I didn't look at the priceless necklace, but picked up the attached designer card. On the card was Sue's handwritten signature, and a line of cursive English, to my eternal muse, Selina. I picked up the signature card, gently waved it at the pale, tottering Vivian below, and Adrian whose gaze locked on me, full of shock, doubt, anger, and some huge sense of loss of control. Then, under all eyes, I casually tossed that card representing supreme honor and recognition into the nearby champagne bucket. The writing is average. I patted my hands, tone indifferent, doesn't match my name. The venue. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. This woman not only inhumanely smashed 30 million to outbid Adrian, but also threw away design god Sue's handwritten signature? Who is she? Huge shock and mystery enveloped the entire hall. Adrian suddenly stepped forward, seeming to rush up to question me. But was blocked by swarming reporters and onlookers. Ignoring the chaos and clamor behind, I picked up the Nirvana necklace, toyed with it at my fingertips, then did something that dropped everyone's jaws again. I casually handed the necklace to a nearby waitress girl who had been looking at me with sparkling, adoring eyes. For you. I smiled, quite matches your uniform color today. The girl completely petrified. The audience's hearts experienced the second sudden stop tonight. 30 million. Just casually given to a waitress? Before everyone reacted, I had turned and left this Vanity Fair. Concealing merits and fame. The next day, topics like mysterious rich woman sky-high bidding Nirvana necklace, who is Selina, Adrian and Vivian crushed, Nirvana necklace gifted to waitress, Sue's muse, exploded dominantly topping the top 5 hot searches. My name, Selina, in an absolutely high-profile posture, smashed back into Adrian and Vivian's world. And this was just the beginning. After the gala incident, my life became thoroughly lively. Adrian mobilized all forces to investigate me. Unfortunately, what he found was only what I wanted him to find, an ordinary family background, average grades, simple experience Selina. As for the huge fund source? He found some eerily lucky investment records in stocks and futures over the past years, arbitrarily concluding I got lucky, made a fortune, and was showing off in front of him. He called me, tone with suppressed anger and condescending lesson, Selina. You think using this sensational way can attract my attention? Revenge on me? You're too naive. That money will be squandered by you sooner or later. Don't come kneeling to beg me then. I directly hung up, blacklisted in one go. Vivian was unwilling and jealous. She couldn't accept the mudfish she always stepped on suddenly becoming an unattainable existence. She bribed a few fashion bloggers, insinuating me as aesthetic nouveau riche, no heritage, ruining art. Unfortunately, it didn't make waves. Because everyone's attention was drawn to another big event, Huanyu Tech's Eye of the Future project security consultant bidding entered the final stage. After several brutal screenings, only 2 left, Lu Group Qin Family Alliance, and the extremely mysterious J. Final defense meeting, Adrian with the strongest tech team, determined to win. And I, alone with a computer, remotely accessed the conference system. My camera and mic off, only a cold, processed electronic synthesized voice appeared in the venue. Mr. J, you can start presenting your proposal. Huanyu's CTO tone respectful. Adrian sat below, corners of mouth with disdainful sneer. He didn't believe that anonymous email and this hiding J had real skills, probably a sensational clown. However, when my synthesized voice began clearly, accessibly analyzing potential risks in Eye of the Future architecture, and proposing a disruptive yet exquisitely clever defense solution, the entire venue, from Huanyu Tech executives to tech experts, fell into huge shock and frenzy. Every word of mine hit the mark, showing technological foresight and depth far beyond this era. The sneer on Adrian's face had long disappeared, replaced by increasingly thick shock and disbelief. This thinking, this style, why did it vaguely feel familiar to him? Defense ended. Huanyu Tech's president directly stood, excitedly saying into the mic, Mr. J, your proposal is unparalleled. We unanimously believe you are the perfect security guardian for the Eye of the Future project. May I ask if you are willing? I am willing. The electronic voice interrupted him, but I have 3 conditions. Please say. First, my remuneration is 5% of the project's final profits. The venue gasped. 5%. This was astronomical. Huanyu president hesitated only 3 seconds, gritted teeth, agreed. Second, my identity must be absolutely confidential, all communications online. No problem. Third, the voice paused, seeming to deliberate, then coldly rang, I refuse any form of cooperation with Lu Group and Qin family. They are out. Uproar. Everyone's gazes instantly focused on the pale-faced Adrian. Adrian suddenly stood, out of composure roaring into the mic, why? Mr. J. Where's our loose proposal bad? We can change. We can pay any price. Please. The reason is simple. The electronic voice without emotion interrupted him, word by word clearly shattering his last hope. I looked down on it. Technology crude, concepts backward, management, stupid and arrogant. Every word like a harsh slap on Adrian and his team's faces. Especially you, Adrian. The voice seemed targeted at him, your arrogance and ignorance are this project's biggest security risk. Adrian froze in place, face from white to green to purple, spectacular. His major project costing countless efforts, his biggest bet to reverse Lu's decline and prove his ability, was thus lightly denied in such humiliating way by a faceless stranger. He could even hear surrounding suppressed snickers and sympathetic, gloating, gazes. Huge sense of failure and humiliation instantly engulfed him. Yet he didn't even know who the opponent was. I disconnected the video. Computer screen darkened, reflecting my impassive face. Phone buzzed, it was Giovanni, excitedly incoherent, Sue. Phoenix series exploded. Totally exploded. Orders flying like snowflakes. All fashion magazines asking who you are. Especially Shanghai's elite circle, going crazy. All inquiring about you. When are you considering revealing? I smiled, soon. One more thing. That Vivian, don't know what shit luck, got nominated for International Digital Art Award Golden Finger Award. Tonight's ceremony, she shamelessly came to borrow Dream of the Starry Sky again, saying willing to pay double. Pfft. I directly had her thrown out. Golden Finger Award? I raised my eyebrow. This award, interesting. Because its top prize final decision right is in the hands of a more mysterious judge codenamed Zero. And Zero was another alias I used in early gaming days. I opened an encrypted email, indeed saw the committee's request for Zero to make final judgment on controversial nominated works. In the nomination list, Vivian's work Digital Dream was prominently listed, but the note said, suspected technical plagiarism and concept similarity, huge controversy. I clicked on her entry. Only watched 3 minutes, I laughed. Plagiarism. And plagiarized from a practice segment I anonymously posted on a geek forum early on. Copied clumsily, only surface, core pale and weak. I replied the email, only one sentence, nominated work Digital Dream, plagiarism confirmed. Attached original link and technical comparison analysis. Suggest permanent blacklisting author, as warning. Sent. That night, Vivian dressed up for Golden Finger Award ceremony, press releases flying, whole net preheating, talented pianist crosses to Digital Art wins International Award. However, until the ceremony ended, she didn't get her award. What came was a stern statement on the official site, directly pointing her work had serious plagiarism, cancelling nomination, and permanently banning her from such events. News out, whole net uproar. Vivian's talent persona instantly collapsed, became industry joke. She stood backstage, looking at swarming curses and mocks on phone, face pale as paper, almost fainting. She couldn't figure how that ancient segment on anonymous forum was dug up. And who had such power to make the committee issue such merciless statement? Adrian rushed to her side first, seeing her distraught, heartbroken and angry. He mobilized Lou family power to suppress news, but found he couldn't. There was a stronger, invisible force behind pushing this, determined to ruin Vivian. Consecutive blows left Adrian exhausted, overwhelmed. He vaguely felt an invisible hand manipulating all this behind. From his divorce, project setbacks, bidding rejection, gala humiliation, to now Vivian's persona collapse, all things like a meticulously woven net, step by step forcing him into desperation. He suddenly thought of Selina. That ex-wife who became extremely unfamiliar after divorce, repeatedly shocking and embarrassing him. Could it be related to her? No, impossible. How could she have such power? Adrian immediately denied this absurd thought. But the seed of doubt, once planted, would quietly take root and sprout. I sat by the apartment's floor-to-ceiling window, leisurely watching more paparazzi squatting below. Adrian and Vivian's gossip drama, due to my sudden appearance, became more mysterious, attracting national melon-eating. Phone rang, unknown number. I answered. From the other end came Adrian's mother, my arrogant ex-mother-in-law's sharp vicious voice. Selina. You jinx. Is it you behind this? Causing Adrian to lose project, now ruining Vivian. How vicious. Can't keep man yourself, use such lowly means for revenge. I tell you, quickly post statement online, say all is your rumor. Or I won't let you off. I directly held the phone away, waited for her roar to finish, then leisurely spoke. Vivian, have time to bark at me, better think how to clean your son's mess. Eye of the Future project failed, Lou stock hit limit down, right? Vivian, this money tree, seems can't shake anymore? You. Ex-mother-in-law almost infarcted from anger, you bitch. Wait. Our Lou family isn't done with you. Welcome. I chuckled lightly, just right, I didn't plan to end like this either. Hung up, I logged into Facebook. My account due to gala event surged tens of thousands fans, all to watch drama and eat melon. I posted a new Facebook, the clear self-clear, the turbid self-turbid. But since some insist on hitting the gun muzzle, then tonight 8 p.m., see in live room. Chat, and incidentally, expose some lies. Post sent, instantly exploded the net. Holy shit. The protagonist personally enters. Live. Tonight 8 p.m. Hurry hurry. Expose lies? Is it hand-tearing loose scumbag and Cheen White Lotus? Get benches. Prepare seeds and water. Adrian and Vivian obviously saw the Facebook, immediately chaotic. They didn't know what cards I held, extremely panicked. Exactly 8 p.m. evening. I punctually opened the live room. Instantly, massive viewers surged, platform servers almost crashed. I didn't show face, camera only on my hands and desktop. Good evening. My voice lightly processed, calm without waves. Today's live content simple, mainly respond to recent false rumors about me, and share some small stories. Barrage scrolled crazily. I leisurely took out some document copies. First, about doubts on my huge assets unclear source. I waved a stock settlement copy before camera. Past years, I was lucky, earned some small money in stocks and futures. This is partial record, legal compliant, taxed. Doubters can check Tax Bureau. The amount digits on settlement, even mosaic, that astonishing figures boiled the barrage. Small money. Versailles ancestor. This number I can't earn in 10 lifetimes. Sister. Rich woman. Hungry. Meal. Second, about me and Mr. Adrian's divorce reason. I put down settlement, picked another file, not the rumored peaceful split. Real reason is, during marriage, Mr. Adrian and Ms. Vivian Long maintained improper relationship. This is partial footage from hotel surveillance, mosaic, and room records, key info hidden. Time span, 2 years. I displayed records one by one. Barrage went totally crazy. Solid proof. Earth-shaking proof. Holy. Marital affair. Scum and bitch. Before bought article saying true love? Pfft. Turns out cheater and mistress. Pity sister. Before cyberbullied by their fans. Watching rapidly scrolling barrage, tone still flat, finally, about Ms. Vivian's talent. I opened computer, connected projector. This is her nominated Digital Dream segment, and this is anonymous original segment posted on a geek forum, published 3 years earlier than her. This is technical comparison report, overlap up to 87%. This is Golden Finger Award committee's official email screenshot confirming her plagiarism. Ironclad evidence, irrefutable. Vivian's talent facade thoroughly torn, revealing ugly true face inside. Live room viewers broke historical record. Whole net hot searches exploded again. Plagiarist dog. Get out entertainment. Too disgusting. Using others' efforts to gild self. Before cursing Selina, people apologize. Sister so ruthless. I love. What revenge cool story script. At this moment, my live room suddenly forced into another video link request. It's Adrian. He obviously anxious, desperately wanting to salvage, or just confront me. I raised eyebrow, clicked accept. Adrian's angry haggard face appeared on screen other half. Selina. What do you want? He roared at camera, composure lost, must you exterminate? Where did you get those things? Have you been scheming me long ago? I calmly looked at his out-of-control appearance, slowly spoke, Adrian, do you remember what you said to me on divorce day? He stunned. You said, I will never become a woman as radiant as Vivian. I slightly leaned forward, even without showing face, letting all feel that compelling aura. Now, I answer you. It's not that I can't become. My voice clear, cold, with absolute crushing power. But the pitiful light you care about and chase, is just what I casually played with years ago, and discarded. And my true light, I paused, word by word, you, Adrian, don't even have the qualification to look up to. Live room quiet for a moment. Then, barrage exploded covering the whole screen. Aaaaah. So cool. Sister slay me. This aura 2.8 meters. Scum face green. This is true queen. Adrian you can't climb. Adrian nailed in place by my words, face ashen, pupils full of huge shock, panic, and indescribable despair. He seemed only at this moment to truly realize what he lost. What he lost wasn't the boring abandoned wife he thought, but an unimaginable, unattainable treasure. He opened mouth, but couldn't say a word. Looking at his complete collapse, I felt bored. Live ends here. Said, I neatly cut the live. The world quieted. Outside window, city night view dazzling. I raised wine glass, toasting this free rebirth. The era belonging to Selina had just arrived.